Robin, our community wants to know if you're doing okay. Good. What is going on, crypto fam? Happy Friday and welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. I am one of your co-hosts, David, and we are coming at you from our studio here in the heart, the strip, the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, with our daily, only on the weekdays, live shows. Before we get into the content, quick disclaimer, nothing that we say on this channel should be taken as financial advice, so please do your own research. With that being said, I'd like to introduce you to the man himself, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, we package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, sometimes your boy blows his lid and freaks out, but it's all part of the show.
Just want to make sure you're okay, Rob.
I'm good. And then, what else? Bitcoin's,
What about subscribe?
I'm getting there.
Okay, my bad.
Just want to say Bitcoin's down a little bit.
You know what? Yesterday, ETH was in the green, Bitcoin was in the red. Not by much, but getting ready to text you a picture. And then as soon as I went to text it, it flipped.
Got my coffee. Second cup of coffee today. So watch
Yeah.
out. Watch out. One cup of coffee, already your boy on edge. When you go too deep, your boy go too deep.
2
You know what I'm
pounds,
saying?
6 ounce, baby Jesus. You hear me up there?
All right. So today's Friday. I'm excited. Now let's get into it. Roll call. First in the chat, Strictly Sports. Congratulations to you, sir.
What's his
You
name?
are first.
What's his real name?
Strictly Sports.
No.
Strictly
What's
Sports?
his channel name? Steph Curry.
Okay.
Just look at the picture. It looks like Steph Curry.
And then, so first in the chat, congratulations to you. Round of applause for Strictly Sports. Next up, we got R.A. Daniel, Tox, Chef Murder. We got Broke Yoshi, Bullish Kenny G. We got In and Out Crypto, a.k.a. Stereo 2, a.k.a. our producer.
AKA Rocco.
And then we got Marky Markin here, and who else? Nordy, Big Chili Willie, Oliver,
Daniel.
Blake, R.A. Daniel, and then I think that rounds up K Factor in here from VA. I'm from VA as well. And then Destroyer, Hit or Miss, and then we got Victor.
Oh, my boy
Sir
Victor
Baby.
Santana. Not related to Carlos Santana, I don't think. Victor and Georgia, good friends of mine. What's going on, guys? Thank you.
Yeah. So, now guys, if you could help us out, and Luis Rivera made the cutoff. He got here just in time. Y'all could like this video.
And Hendy.
Drop a like. There ain't enough likes in here. Let me take a look at our like metric. 12 likes. 15 likes.
I see 15.
Okay, that's because they're actively hitting the like button.
Right.
They're doing it as 16.
17.
Come on.
18.
Come on.
We're going to spend the whole show counting.
Come on, baby. We will not start this show until we get over 20 likes. I'm letting you know that right now. If you'd like to progress this content, do us a favor. How you doing? All right. So if you're not subscribed yet, if you're new watching us, subscribe, because we bring the juice and the heat like this hot coffee. Also, notification bell. You don't want to miss our other content. We don't just do live streams.
Yeah.
We also do deep dives that we haven't done in a while. We also do YouTube shorts.
Follow us on Twitter.
Twitter.
We post a lot of stuff on there as well.
Mhm.
At Sin City Crypto 1.
That's right.
Go follow us.
Mm-hmm. Lots of good info. Lots
You
of nice
know,
retweets.
Today is a very exciting day. Friday is one of our favorite days. We have our main man, Forrest from CryptoStackers Pro. He will be joining us for a special market watch, market analysis, break down some charts, talk about the overall crypto market cap, markets. If you're watching us after the fact, we will have timestamps for you to help you navigate through the video, so please use those if you'd like to, but we'd recommend you watching it from beginning to end to not miss any exciting moments during our show.
That's right.
Robin,
¿Qué pasa?
you got plans for the weekend?
Ooh, you know, I actually don't. I do know, like, I don't have any like fun plans. So literally, I'm like, I was gonna ask Rocco. I'm like, Rocco, what day is a good day for me to come in here and build this new visual part of our setup as far as our graphics. So I will be here over the weekend trying to make this show look in a fun and sexy way. So, all right, so yeah, that's all I'm doing. Is I'm building, bro.
Okay.
I'm a builder here. I'm a builder.
You gonna ask me what I'm doing?
I really could care less.
Thanks, Rocco.
I do want to say hola, Maria.
It's
Welcome.
Marie.
Marie.
Marie,
welcome to Sin City Crypto.
It's nothing personal, I promise. He butchers everyone's name, even if it's as simple as Marie. So please do not take any
And
person.
then, if you guys didn't notice, I thought I saw it earlier. We put up a new emoji. So we have our troll emoji. So if you see the trolls in the chat, please, you are allowed. You have permission to spam the troll emoji. If you're not familiar with the hell we're talking about, if you are a member, you get access to our exclusive emojis. And
handcrafted by yours truly.
yeah, that's right. And so, in case you don't know, we really do appreciate our memberships. We literally don't have any sponsors. And so the studio here, we have a lease, and we literally take all your super chats and all of your memberships, and we pay our lease. We're only about 25% of the way. So,
we're 3 months behind, but hey.
so
Kidding,
25% of our lease is covered by you guys.
You know what?
But honestly, so much love for that, man. We really appreciate it. So.
Just real quick, and Steph Curry brought up a good point. He said, go check out Forrest YouTube channel. I want to expand on that. We're working on bringing a lot of guests, a lot of different people from our space to our channel as guests to share their inside knowledge with you. All we ask of you is our community. I know we're small, but when people come to this channel, I want them to look at their subscriber metrics, and I want them to see, wow, we got this many people from their community subscribe to our channel. We just ask that you as our community show some love to these guests that are coming on our show. We'll be having multiple people coming on over the next few weeks, especially people like Forrest and the people that we'll bring on that we're not going to spoil who we're bringing on.
Marky Mark he's fulfilled his 2 month whale membership. Give him a whale membership. Here we go. This is for you.
Arr, she blows.
Now,
Not new, but
I do want to give you the option of what kind of whale would you like to be. I would recommend a blue whale because they are the largest mammal in the world. Just my thoughts, but whatever you want.
And Strictly Sports, he is officially the newest member of our crypto familia. So there we go.
We appreciate
see,
you.
hey, we're making strides. Maybe we're about 27% of our lease now. So
So stupid. No, we love you guys. All right, Robin.
All right. Without further ado,
Take us away.
Let's get into it. So let's take a look at our top 10 currencies today. And if you're new at this screen here, haven't watched this in a while, we omit the stable coins. There's no need for you to understand that the price of the tether has went up from 0.999999 to 0.999998 or down. So we just
it's depegged.
Yes, that's right. So anyways,
Down the alarms.
top 10 tokens. Bitcoin coming in at a flat 23,000. We are teetering. We are bouncing. We are testing support. 23K. That's our new support, right? Was resistance, now support. I think this is going to be a big weekend for us.
You think so?
I think so. I think overall, I think you could see a $25,000 Bitcoin this weekend. We could also see a $19,000 Bitcoin. What do you think is more likely? 25 or 19?
It depends. So I think today in the traditional stock market, the last 30 minutes to 45 minutes of trading on the NASDAQ, on the Dow Jones, on the S&P is very key. If you see massive sell-off, I would think Bitcoin would also sell off. Just because remember, we have that FOMC meeting on Wednesday. Some say 100 basis points, some say 50. Sorry, some say 75. I'm leaning towards 75. I know I think Robin's leaning towards more on the 100 side. So we'll see. If we see a pump the last 30 minutes, I think we'll see 75. The markets, they get insider information that we are not privy to, kind of information. So we'll see how they react. And then, but if it stays stale or it pumps, I think Bitcoin will go close, get to that 25,000 before 19. If there's a big sell-off the last 30 minutes, then obviously I think Bitcoin will drop down to 19,000. So.
Also, just a shout out to Broke Yoshi. He hit us 3 months on the whale membership as well. And then we also got somebody new in here, Justin. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Said this is his first time here.
Awesome, man.
So sorry if we give us some time, man. We'll warm up on you. You might watch this the first time and you'd be like, these guys are something else, man. So give us at least 3 episodes before you decide to exit. There
is another first that just happened. Robin pronounced your name correctly, Justin. So a round of applause for Robin.
I mean, it's hard to mess up the name Justin.
You messed up Marie.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna call Justin J Rock from now on because I had a friend growing up. His name was Justin. I always called him J Rock.
J Mac.
J Rock.
J McFritz. No, J Mac is better.
J Rock. That's his name. J Rock.
All right, then you don't mess up Steph Curry then. Deal?
You are even realize my MO is I refuse to call him Steph Curry because his emoji doesn't look nothing like
it. It looks like Steph Curry. What do you Bro, that's
look
Steph
at that.
Curry.
Okay, on another news.
Okay, go ahead.
Over here. We got Ethereum at $1,574. Ethereum's looking good, man.
Ethereum is looking good. We're, it was in the title of this video. We're going to talk about ETH. Vitalik Buterin came out, essentially laid out the post-merge. We're talking the purge, the surge, and the verge. And if you think I'm joking, I'm not. Those are literally what they're called. And we'll talk about what all that entails.
You know what? I'm gonna skip ahead, man. I gotta bring something. Pull up my laptop. Got your boy Vitalik here, man. Take away Broke Yoshi's chat. Not that I don't appreciate you, but look at those socks.
Damn.
Who puts socks over the jeans?
The man got style, man.
Who puts socks over the jeans? That's what Rocco's nodding his head. Do you put socks over the jeans, Rocco?
Yeah, when I go hiking, there are the cactus on the mountains, so they have to put that's how you do it. If you go hiking in the cactus on the wild.
I think it's a European
He
thing.
is in a convention on a stage. There is no cactuses up
He might
there.
be going hiking after. God, you're so...
Yeah, you don't know.
You're so
And then,
insensitive.
what is this little satchel he's got on the side? I don't want to say him. You know what I want to say.
It's
but
satchel, not satchel.
maybe a sachet.
Remember that movie, Hangover? It's not a man purse, it's a satchel.
Oh.
By the way,
man.
Hangover 1 or Hangover 2?
I think it was.
Okay, so what's a better look? This Vitalik or this Vitalik? Which one? Which one?
This
you
one
want?
for sure.
You think this was better?
100%. The other one is like, hey, I just got done merging Beacon with the Ethereum mainnet, and we're ready for this one. I was like, hey,
Like,
man, where's
is he
the
at a crypto convention or like one of those weird
He's
sex,
at a rave.
sex parties? Like, that's
He's at a rave. Yeah.
We will give you quality information soon, please. As I mentioned, do not leave before you watch 3 episodes.
At the very least, Forrest is coming on. Stay for him, okay?
Also, when we get to 60 viewers in the chat, that's all I got there, Rocco. We can go back to our prices. So when we get to 60 viewers in the chat, we open up the club. Why do we open up the club? Because we like to celebrate milestones, and when we get to new milestones, like new record,
But
of
60
viewers,
is an old milestone. So I don't know why we're not bumping it
No,
up.
we're gonna. The milestones are gonna sit for a week. So if we crush it, and then the next week, for the whole week, we'll set the number.
We didn't put this up to a vote, but
Yeah, we can't just expect a candle to a wick up or a wick down.
it does it all the time.
All right.
Anyways.
let's get into it. All right. So, crypto fear and greed index sitting at a 33, and so
Let me ask you a question, Robin.
what's up?
Would you rather put a grand in a Binance coin or a grand in a Solana?
Ooh. You know what? I feel like Binance coin goes on big tears. We saw it right at the run up of the last market, and we just haven't had much buzz out of Binance in a while. I mean, Binance coming in at $265. Taking a look, maybe we'll have Forrest take a look at the Binance.
EMB.
I mean, look at here. Pull up my chart real quick, and then we'll do a little deeper dive into this with Forrest. But definitely, when it comes to fundamentals and the base project, so the team behind it, Binance, the largest exchange, you can rest assured that this has probably got the staying power. And a lot of use case, a lot of users are using Binance Smart Chain, not only just to mint crap tokens, but they are also using it in the smart contract functionality and DeFi. There is NFTs, albeit it's pretty small, but it is there. So I wouldn't be surprised. At the end of the day, all it takes is one like trending NFT project to bring tons of new users over to you.
Are you worried that their moniker is they're the scam chain?
No, if anything, it helps you because the price of using the smart contract functionality is so dirt cheap that you can create a new token, a new cryptocurrency for pennies on the dollar in comparison to Ethereum, where it would take you hundreds of thousands of dollars to launch a new crap token. But anyways, we've lost a lot of steam in Binance. I'm not sitting here looking at the charts and numbers. I'm just looking all-time high over $600. And with something that was that high, you're down well over what do you think, about 70%? I don't know mathematics that well, but probably somewhere around there. And so a lot of upside utility, as I said, high. And it just hasn't pumped quite as drastically as some of the other tokens. And then just taking a quick peek at traditional markets, Nasdaq down 2%. A lot of negative news in social media as far as the quarterly reports. Snapchat down to 40%, dude. And obviously Twitter came in pretty down on the top. I don't know the numbers right off the top of my head, but quite significant drawback for Twitter. Obviously, what happened with Elon Musk. You can't discount. He put them on blast, bro.
Elon did.
Yeah.
Now, listen, before you move on, let's recognize our boy Big Chili Willy. He just upgraded to a hodler.
Ooh,
hodler member. So welcome to the hodler club.
There you
Big
go.
Chili Willy. We appreciate your support. We love you.
Thank you. And then and we'll have Forrest on here in a couple minutes, but I do want to talk about geopolitically what's going on around the world. Italy, our boy Rocco's
Mario Draghi.
His meatball hometown is under fire, and so Italian Prime Minister Mario was it Draghi? Draghi? Yeah.
I said it right the first time, right, Rocco?
I'm not very good at pronunciation.
We know.
So he quits after failing to revive the coalition government. So just a couple things. Prime Minister gave his resignation on Thursday, paving the way for fresh elections and opening up a new chapter in uncertain political environment. September? Okay. And then it comes after Draghi was snubbed by coalition partners in a vote of confidence or no confidence in the Senate Wednesday, effectively meaning the government had collapsed. So a little different than basically what's the term here when you oust somebody in the U.S. the president? What's it called? They did it to Trump twice.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm drawing
impeach.
Yeah. So
I like peaches.
Now, so does have some significance. Traders are hedging the risk of Italy leaving the European Union after he resigned. So. You got to keep in mind that the failure of one country does drag down the whole of the European Union. I am Portuguese, where if you haven't noticed, our old laws come with no H, which is an homage to the Portuguese language. We don't do the H. But anyways, Portugal and Greece pretty much damn near single-handedly brought down the European Union with the failure of our monetary system. And so, you have uncertainty here in Italy, and with all the uncertain times, wouldn't be out of the question for Europe to be like, hey man, we're already
Giving them
going
the
through
boot.
some stuff. We don't need you dragging us down any
We
further.
want to see other people.
Rocco, Italy. You want to keep them in the European Union, right? That makes sense, right? they're gonna. I think this is way overblown.
I mean, they're the third largest economy in Europe.
They're the backbone. You know what I mean? You got Spain, Italy, France, Germany. You can't boot any of those out. I mean, that's like booting California out of the United States. But like, it ain't the United States without California. It ain't the United States without Texas. It ain't the United States without Florida
And Las Vegas.
and Vegas. Actually, I don't think the people care about Vegas enough. We need more awareness in Vegas. You know?
All right.
Why you give me the stinker?
I don't know. I want to see some charts.
All right.
So you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right,
Let's go.
Rocco. Let's bring Forrest. Forrest!
Hey.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Hey man, pleasure. Thank you for joining us again every Friday. We appreciate it. So Forrest,
I want to know when we come to Atlanta here next month. We hanging out? What are we doing? What's on the agenda? We're going to dinner. We're going. I'm telling you, I want to go to a water.
to him
I want to
already.
go to a water park.
what?
You want to go where?
A water park. There's no water parks
Water
in Vegas.
park? Yeah.
Yes, there is.
we got
There's
a water
two.
park.
There's two of them.
Lake Lanier water parks. We got a good water park.
Okay,
Don't listen to him.
we're going to a water park. Our
Forrest,
water parks in
don't.
Vegas are
Look,
terrible. It's a
if-
parking lot with a slide, bro. It's
Forrest,
terrible.
don't listen.
If
Forrest.
Bitcoin's under 15K, we're going to Burger King for dinner.
Man. So I know your NFTs minted on Sunday. How did that go? Or you want to kind of share some insight on that with our community?
Yeah. So I think it went really well. We still have about 360 left. So we've minted out roughly 74% of the supply, which I think is good in these market conditions. All things considered, we're seeing more mints start to trickle in. What is really interesting is we are not seeing people list. We have like very few listings, meaning the people that have minted them. So a lot of times when a project doesn't mint out immediately, and we were not a very hyped up launch at all, we've just been trying to grow organically like we've talked about.
Yep.
What you'll see is a lot of the flippers of that project, they'll say, oh, it didn't mint out. I want to sell mine. And they'll even take a loss, right? So they start selling under mint. Well, no one's going to mint at a higher price than what you can buy on secondary, right? But what we've seen with our project is nobody's listing them because everybody who's minted one, even though we haven't minted out and there's more available, nobody wants to sell them. And they don't want to sell them under mint because they're kind of like an organic grown community rather than just a bunch of flippers coming in to try to make a short-term profit. So I think it's going really well. We onboarded an artist yesterday who has like a couple of songs on Spotify with over 1 million streams. So things are going really well. Slow moving in the beginning, as you guys know, building from scratch and building organically. But it's going as good as we could hope for.
That's amazing. Yeah, we minted one here at Sin City Crypto. We got a pretty cool one. You know what I loved? I love the fact that I posted it on Twitter and I said, shout out to whoever created this. And the creator commented, said, I'm the one who did it. I think that is so unique. That is so cool. So big props to you for coming out with that. Very, very kind of out of the box thinking, right? So that was great. Now, I want to ask you, so did you hear about Coinbase, the insider trading, and then the SEC coming out labeling those 9 coins as securities?
I didn't see the securities part, but I did hear about the insider trading, which has actually been like kind of known and suspected for quite a long time on crypto Twitter.
Well, the something that kind of got overlooked initially when that article broke was that in the SEC's wording when they were discussing this and their media, anyways. They said on there that they were trading, insider trading, and that 9 of the tokens were deemed security in their eyes. And so just kind of just a one-word sentence. They didn't elaborate on it, and then it didn't catch as much buzz. And I think a lot of people are like, hey, wait a second. SEC said those 9 tokens are securities. So I don't know.
Do you think we'll ever see a pro crypto SEC as long as things remain status quo with Gary Gensler being the commissioner? You think it's too far gone? You
Probably
think
not. They don't seem to like crypto too much, but at the same time, they're almost. And again, I don't keep up with the SEC a ton. Obviously, there's the whole lawsuit with XRP, but as much as they don't seem to like it, they've kind of left it alone a little bit more than what I would have expected. I think they could, if they really wanted to, make it, public enemy number one. They could, if they really wanted to come after it hard, they could. And while they do seem to be coming after it, I don't think it's like their top priority. And which is good. I think we're still kind of under the radar. We could be getting more scrutiny than we actually are, considering how speculative this market actually is. It's tough to understand what's going through these people's minds at any given time.
You do bring up a good point. I do think that, with the powers that they have, SEC is, they basically just strong arm any company in America to basically submitting to what rules they imply. And for what they've done so far, it is probably way less than what powers they could flex on people. And I mean, even Bitcoin, they could have pretty much put a stop to Bitcoin a long time ago if they wanted to, and they just let that grow and that ecosystem evolve. And now at this point, it's too late. It's too late. And so you get in this situation where it's like, hey, well, you let Bitcoin do its thing, and now it evolved and it flourished, and now it's decentralized in the vision that it was created. And you can't dismiss the fact that the projects that are here now aren't following a very similar path of decentralization. I think that's really the one hang up we have here when deeming a security or not when it comes to a cryptocurrency project. So
now I think all three of us agree that we are going to see regulation in our space, correct? Yeah. Robin, Forrest?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Now, Forrest, Robin and I got into a heated argument about this on Wednesday, okay? I'm in the camp of cryptocurrency is so unique, there's not a single branch of judicial government or whatever the case, the SEC, the CFTC, that it fits 100% into. So my idea is to create a digital asset committee or commission or whatever the case may be that just does digital assets. Robin thinks that they should take pieces of so if this piece is like a security, then the SEC regulates that side of it.
Yeah,
if it's more of a commodity,
I think you can break down most cryptocurrency chains, and they do have attributes that like Bitcoin has a lot of attributes that fit into a commodity. Ethereum has a lot of attributes that fit into the use and utility in the same way that you would have a commodity. It has different characteristics, and then. So I don't know. I feel like there's no need, and there's other industries where they break up the responsibility or the powers that be, like the housing or banking industry. It's not usually regulated by one entity. So right. I don't know. My personal feeling is that it's better suited with the structure that we have, and why build something from the ground up. So.
What side do you land on, Forrest?
Yeah, so I guess what is the question? Like, how much? Like, how should they go about regulating?
Right?
Terms
should
of
they?
How do you fit this into a box?
Right? Should they just take the branches that are already available, CFTC, SEC, whatever the case may be, Treasury, and whatever part of the cryptocurrency fits the narrative of whatever they make laws on, they handle that side of it. So you break it up into pieces and distribute it amongst the different, commissions, or do you just create a brand new commission that's just focused on digital assets that incorporates everything under one umbrella?
Because this is all getting built right now too. You know what I mean? And Elizabeth, So I think this is the pivotal moment. We're going to look back and be like, hey, this is where we built our industry as far as when it comes to the U.S. regulations. So
what would you favor?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that because of the complicated nature of crypto. If you fracture it among the existing regulatory bodies, each of those regulatory bodies could potentially have a crypto, department. But then you really fracture your expertise in how you treat this. So I would say I do think we need some sort of or may see some sort of regulatory department or body, like you mentioned, David, where it's a specialized department, just like the SEC, but just for crypto. I think crypto is just they're going to have to figure out an approach to regulating it, because there's certain pieces to it that you can successfully regulate and certain things that you can't. One of the things that I think we're going to see a lot of scrutiny over is like on ramps and off ramps, for that matter. How do you move money on and off chain? But like once money is on chain, it's really, really difficult to regulate. Like, how are you going to regulate somebody sending Bitcoin from one address to the other, especially when you start getting into some of these privacy enabled coins like Monero? How are you going to regulate decentralized DeFi protocols like Aave, where they run decentralized? Like there's no, you can't just go to a centralized entity and say, no, you got to shut it down. Like, it's too bad. Right. It's just code on the Ethereum blockchain. Right. So I think where we'll see targeting and where regulation will be, most scrupulous is on the off ramps and the on ramps, trying to catch money as it's going on and trying to catch money and regulate money as it's coming down. But to answer your question, it's so complicated, and I think they're going to be behind the ball for a long period of time. I have a CPA friend who's like, the IRS is 20 years behind in fintech as it is, and they're another 10, 15 years behind crypto. Like, they're so far, they were so far behind fintech already, that this whole crypto thing is like really, really throwing them for a loop, and they really don't. And I'm not saying, hey, they're not going to come after you for not paying your taxes. I'm not saying that at all. He just told me like they really are behind on years on regulating this.
20 years.
I do think we brought up a good point on the how it's hard to regulate it. I think of crypto as an emerging space in a similar way as like the internet, where, initially when the internet was kind of coming to fruition, they were talks of like, well, we don't like this part and we want to ban this. And then, at the end of the day, it's like, hey, the internet's its own thing. It's like, it's essentially a decentralized marketplace. I mean, it is controlled by entities, but at the end of the day, nobody's setting rules or laws outside of the extremes when it comes to terrorism and all the naughty stuff. But it's I don't know. You're not going to be able to regulate DeFi. I mean, how can you stop a smart contract? And that's kind of my comparison.
And Aave is the perfect example.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with the internet. Like you can't get all the positives of the internet and be like, well, you can send emails and join chat rooms, but you can't video call somebody in China. I'm like, well, right. If I want to, I can. So
we'll see how it all unfolds.
And then what happens when you've got DarkFi and you've got privacy layers on top of Ethereum or alternative private networks, layer one smart contract networks like Secret Network, where you can't track anything. There's no, like, at least with Ethereum and Solana and Avalanche, you could go in and it would take some technology, but you can go in and query the chain and track funds openly because it's all on the blockchain. But with some of these other ones, that you're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah. So, Forrest, are we having a dead cat bounce? Are we having a psych out, or did we bottom a month ago? That's what I want to know. Is that what you want to know, David?
I want to know. I want Forrest to do his thing. So,
all right,
Forrest, please.
Yeah. All right. So let me share my screen here. We'll get into some charts. All right. So let's start with Ethereum. And it's really easy for me to come on last week and the week before and just be like, hey, we're way oversold. It's so easy to say, all right, we had forced selling, right? Everything was scary, but look how oversold it is. I'll go to Ethereum and I'll throw on the easy bands. It paints an even clearer picture. It was so easy to sit here and say like, hey, this is oversold. It just makes sense to DCA. Just make it like that's the move. It doesn't matter. All other things considered, doesn't matter. Like, it's super, super cheap and it makes sense to buy it and DCA in it as long as it's quality. Now that we've gotten this relief rally to the tune of 84%, which is no small amount of a relief rally, like it's up 84% from the bottom, it becomes a lot more complicated. So as you can see here, looking at Ethereum, we do have some short-term resistance in terms of this downtrend line. Usually you want to buy support, sell resistance. So I would expect, some form of resistance here, and maybe we do come back down and retest these levels, right? Maybe we break through and bounce on the other side. Now, the retest that I am trading less in the short term, and I'm looking for more infrequent levels to take profit at. So my profit taking levels that I want to sell for Ethereum in the short to midterm would be this downtrend line, right? If we pump up to, $2,300, $2,400, right? Based off of, these tops, right? And it gets even more complicated, or not complicated, but, you can draw these in different ways that project these at different levels. But the main level, or one of the big levels that I'm looking at, is a 21-week simple moving average, right? We see time and time again, not just Ethereum, not just Bitcoin, but cryptocurrencies in general. Oftentimes after they become oversold, they come back up and they do what's called a mean reversion. And that's the level that you want to hedge and de-risk at. You can see it was the perfect time to sell Ethereum at $3,400, $3,500 as we moved up into this 21-week simple moving average. So if and when we recover to this, 21-week simple moving average, which is currently at around $2,200, but it is moving down, right? By the time we get to it, maybe it's around $2,000. That's where I'm going to be taking profits on my ETH. However, I'm very bullish on Ethereum, very bullish on the merge. So I'm not going to take a ridiculous amount. I'm going to take profits on the stuff that I bought down here, and that's a solid 2x. That's a really solid, easy 2x. And if I'm wrong about Ethereum and I'm wrong about the merge being a major catalyst for price action, I'll have additional capital to deploy down at the same levels or lower. That's my hedging strategy. That's my trading strategy. I'm just looking to sell a 21-week simple moving average mean reversion. Now, if we don't get there, right, and we just start moving down from here back to these levels, I'll turn the DCA back on, right? Now you can see, like right now, my DCA is off, right? I DCA into Ethereum in this green channel. So yes, I did buy a little bit early here. I bought a little bit early here, but I also bought very aggressively when we were oversold down here, right? So the overall market view, and I'll try to summarize it, it's much harder to summarize or to boil it down into like bearish or bullish. Now that we've actually seen this relief rally, it was so much easier to just say, hey, it's super cheap, nothing else matters, it's buy. But now that we have this relief rally, we're at higher prices, it's tougher to call the market. Raoul Pal just made a really interesting thread about why he thinks the overall economy is on the edge of a cliff. He thinks that bonds are about to rally, yields will drop. And all these charts are basically showing that like supply chain and growth of the economy is like stalling out and crashing. But what does that mean for crypto? His end conclusion was that it actually makes sense to buy bonds because he thinks that the yields are about to fall and bonds are about to rally. Bonds are cheap right now. And to buy exponential age growth stocks as they've priced in more than anything else. Meaning that Ethereum and crypto, not only have we had these endogenous factors in terms of the forced selling and everything driving crypto down, but because it's so speculative and risk on, he believes, and I would be in agreement, that most of the crash has been led, or crypto has been kind of a leading indicator or a leading asset class in the sense that it's priced in a lot of this disruption and a lot of this fear. Right, so you're actually getting cheaper prices on tech stocks and crypto than you are on than you're going to get on some other more solid stuff. I do still think that Ethereum can rally, and I'm going to go ahead and say I think that regardless of how bad the economy gets, and while we're on that topic, I'll cut over. I know I'm kind of jumping around here. I will say we're seeing crude oil come down to and not break its downtrend line. We are seeing crude oil correct down below $100 and stay below $100, which is a good sign for CPI and for prices, and hopefully inflation and prices can start coming down a little bit. We are seeing a small correction in DXY. From 109 down to 106. So we're starting to see a little bit of relief, right? But we're also seeing, like Raoul Pal mentioned, growth starting to stall. So it's one of those things where I think there's going to be my global view, and I'm not a global macro guy, but my global view is that basically the Fed thought that inflation was transitory for too long, and they didn't fight it and hike rates soon enough. And the energy policy has been kind of not optimal, leading to high energy and high oil prices, that there's going to be a very uncomfortable period of time, some may refer to it as recession, where the inflation hasn't come down enough, right? But growth is starting to crash, and the Fed needs to pivot, right? But the Fed can't really pivot because inflation hasn't come down enough, because they were too slow in terms of addressing it. Now,
Forrest,
all that being said, yep, go ahead.
real quick, do you think we're going to see 100 basis points or 75?
I have no idea. I believe the prediction markets believe 75. When I checked 2 days ago on the prediction markets, we checked in the CryptoStackers Pro Discord. Someone posted it or did a presentation on it. For a while, they were predicting 100 basis points, and then it flipped. Now they're predicting 75 basis points. And I wish I had the charts pulled up, but basically the yield curve is starting to invert, I believe. And the Fed has to be really, really careful about raising interest rates from here on out, because they basically don't have a lot of room left to raise interest rates before the yield curve inverts, if it hasn't already. So I don't want to speak out of turn on that, but I think the prediction markets are saying 75 basis points. But what that means obviously risk on assets are going to perform a little bit better and be more favorable in a 75 basis point hike than a 100 basis point hike. But all that considered, about the economy looking really, really rough, and us going into this uncomfortable recession where growth is stalling, but inflation is still high. I still think Ethereum can outperform. And I say that because I'm kind of looking at Ethereum in relation to the rest of the market, the rest of the world, similar to what Chainlink looked like last bear market in terms of just the crypto world. Chainlink completely rallied in a bear market. And I actually wish I had a chart pulled up of how well Chainlink, I have Link ETH. Yeah, we can look at Link compared to Ethereum, right? Last bear market, just completely, this is in 2018 and 2019, completely demolished. This is Link versus Ethereum, completely demolished the rest of the market, right? All the way through to August of 2020, which was really when the rest of the bull market was getting kicking for most of crypto. Chainlink appreciated so much against the rest of the market, despite the fact that we were in a bear market. So when there's an endogenous, I want to briefly talk about exogenous versus endogenous catalysts. There's two. I hate those words. They're so confusing. But basically, what we have with Ethereum is an endogenous catalyst and what endogenous means is it's endogenous to Ethereum. It has to do with Ethereum. It is not coming from the outside world, right? So a recession or stagflation or any type of economic restriction and constriction is exogenous to the crypto space, and it's exogenous to Ethereum, right? An example of an endogenous catalyst is the merge. And an example of an endogenous negative catalyst was all this forced selling and this depegging between staked ETH and Ethereum, right? That had direct impact on Ethereum. It had to do with Ethereum. If there was a double spend on Bitcoin, for example, Bitcoin would tank. There'd be risk of it dropping well, but if there was a legitimate double spend on Bitcoin, and I'm not saying there's going to be, but that's, the whole thing that Bitcoin fixes is, double spend and whatnot. If there was a legitimate double spend on Bitcoin, Bitcoin would probably crash below $3,000. It would be a nightmare, because that would be an endogenous negative catalyst for Bitcoin, because it's inside Bitcoin. It is a problem with Bitcoin. Same thing with Ethereum. If there's a double spend on Ethereum, the same thing, it would crash, right? These endogenous catalysts, whether positive or negative, affect price action so much more than exogenous, right? Now, Bitcoin is in the crypto market has been correlated somewhat with macro recently, as macro started to constrict, and it's reacted more. But when you have an endogenous catalyst, right, like the merge, I believe that there's a strong chance a lot of people are going to be if we're in the midst of a bear market, everything else is performing poorly. People are going to be looking and chomping at the bit for an opportunity to make money. And we could see something like Ethereum depart from everything else and be that play that isolated play that runs against everything else, just Link did against Ethereum. Now, I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong. But despite that, I still think that of all the cryptocurrencies out there, as bad as the economy looks right now, I think that Ethereum is the one that I'm most comfortable in, because at worst, this merge, well, at worst, the merge, fails, right? There's always that risk. But if everything goes according to plan, which I believe that it will, and the prediction markets believe that it will, then at the very least, it should be getting a lighter bear market than everything else, at the worst. Now, I do want to address the fact that I will say a lot of people calling for $600, $800, maybe even $300 ETH. I just don't see that happening unless we get some sort of endogenous catalyst that is to the downside for Ethereum. What I mean by that is like what it took for Ethereum to get down to $900 or $890, $900 with support at 1K was forced selling and a fear about like FTX coming in and depegging staked ETH, fear about Celsius, being insolvent, fear about Three Arrows Capital going bankrupt, fear about Voyager. All of this fear and unwinding and forced selling is what drove this price down. That was an endogenous catalyst to the downside for Ethereum and for the crypto market. What we have right now is exogenous to crypto. I hate them saying these words way too much. It's super annoying, but it's global macro. But in the term, if you look at crypto, like total cryptocurrency market cap, which is, I got to remove all these all these drawing tools, right? We're still sitting at a $1 trillion total cryptocurrency market cap. That is very, very small. So when you drill down even further, I do think that there are individual cryptocurrencies that even if we are in a recession, even if we do see the global macro look really, really bad, I still think that there's going to be individual opportunities within the crypto space, especially if they have endogenous catalysts to the upside. I could be wrong on that. Maybe crypto will get its butt kicked, but that's why I'm positioning myself in Ethereum. Go ahead.
So Forrest, just to clarify for my co-host Robin, so you're saying it's not out of the realm of possibilities that even if Bitcoin is down and the rest of the markets are down, Ethereum could be making a move to the upside?
I think there's a chance for decoupling. Actually, like I do think there's a chance for decoupling. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I think so. I look at scenarios and try to estimate their likelihood of happening. That is one scenario I'm willing to entertain. It's I don't think it's the most likely scenario. I think the most likely scenario is that we get a 21-week simple moving average reversion, right, at a mean reversion, maybe to 22,000, 2,100, right? Then we probably chop around until the merge. We get some hype around the merge, and then maybe we go if like a really solid, plausible scenario for me would be to test that 2K to 3K range for Ethereum based off of the merge news, right? That's where I'd be, that's the scenario that I'd put the most weight on. I do think that if some things turn around and start adding up and people get really bullish on Ethereum and use it as an opportunity to try to pile in and make a lot of money and everything else isn't really moving, and then if all of a sudden Ethereum starts breaking out, hype around the merge, people start piling in. You see a 10% day for Ethereum. It moves from 2,000 to 2,200 in a day, and then the next day it's another 10%. All of a sudden you can get that FOMO cycle where everyone's like, oh, this is the play, this is the play, this is the merge, this is the catalyst, and all of a sudden you kind of get that reflexive loop that can push it up to that 4, 5, 6K range. But again, that is not the scenario that I'm banking on or weighing the heaviest. Like I think there's a small chance that happens, but what I would expect to happen would be that 2 to 3K range off of this merge catalyst.
What I love about Ethereum so much is that the upside potential with the merge and basically the FOMO, and maybe institution gets in because of it being more of a green cryptocurrency in comparison to like Bitcoin, right. But it also has the liquidity and the market cap of almost as much as Bitcoin. And so I could definitely see a situation where Ethereum does break correlation from Bitcoin. I think it's unlikely, But I do see a case for that. But the beautiful part of Ethereum is that regardless if that even happens, it's such a good long-term hold that I could care less if I swing and miss, because at the end of the day, I'm going to win on the long term. And yeah, you can kind of say that about any cryptocurrency, but I stand by the fact that Ethereum holds almost no chance of going to zero or completely failing. And you can kind of make that argument for most of the other altcoins. Some more likely than others, but that's why I feel comfortable holding Ethereum now, short term, even if that doesn't play out like I expect it to. Hey, you know what? Long term, amazing project. Question: we were discussing BNB. What's your thoughts on BNB? At face value, it did have its rally. It kind of is a copy and paste of Ethereum's network in a sense, with the addition of staking. Definitely more centralized than say Ethereum, but did have a huge rally. Obviously, a lot faster. Has a lot of the characteristics of say like a Solana as far as speed and scalability, but doesn't have so much of the hiccups. And I feel like not enough people are talking about Binance, and also quite significantly down from its all-time highs. I mean, everything is, but
for me, I'm like BNB is known as a scam chain. So I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Forrest?
Yeah, so it's got its strengths and weaknesses, and people that are in crypto, like really into crypto, don't love BNB because it doesn't really fit the ethos of what crypto is for, because it's kind of centralized. So a lot of people kind of get hung up on that fact of like, in the same way, like lots of other chains, they start out, centralized, or they're a little bit more centralized than, Ethereum or Bitcoin. They don't fit into that like deep crypto ethos. And I know that's probably the thing that kept me from making money on BNB in that big rally, is like, it's centralized. I don't get it. It doesn't fit the ethos long term. I don't know if I'm bullish on this. Where BNB's strength is they have an amazing product with their exchange. The chain actually works. It's pretty cheap. It came along at the perfect time as Ethereum gas fees were way too high, like very, very high. It was just like a relief valve and an amazing amazing alternative to use instead of Ethereum, because it was so much cheaper. So it came along at the perfect time, and they just have a ridiculous reach. They're one of the, I think they're now the number one exchange in terms of Bitcoin holdings. CZ has done an incredible job at Binance of like building the world's largest crypto exchange. So their reach in their community is very, very high. Right. So that's half the battle that we see in crypto. Is like one of the things that makes a cryptocurrency successful is like how many customers, how many users can they get on the chain, and how strong is their community, and how much belief does their community have in the token. They also have good tokenomics. Not going to lie, like they burn a lot of BNB tokens. And when they just crush the supply like that and continue to burn the supply, it accrues value. So I think CZ is super smart. I just don't necessarily agree with how centralized that BNB is. But if you look at it in terms of like value accrual and price action and community, it's a strong token, and it's hard to argue with. I personally don't own any or have any in my portfolio, but I can see the merit for it.
Yeah, I think when you're running finance smart contracts, whether it's technically DeFi or just more fintech, I think for institutions, if they want to run smart contracts, having centralization, having someone at the driver's seat that can tailor the chain or some of its aspects.
I think they want that, right?
Yeah, I think so. Your Hedera Hashgraph has a big draw when it comes to corporate, and even Solana as well. So I think there's definitely a space there. I don't think that like strong decentralization across the board is what we're going to get. I think we're going to get a mixture. I think we're going to have Bitcoin store value. You're going to have your DeFi king like Ethereum. And then I think you're going to have institution-based blockchain technology where, you know what, if you want to transfer value across borders or from one corporation to another, from a central bank to an institution or nation states, I think, you know, centralization is probably ideal in those situations. And so I do think it's a piece of the pie. And Binance is leading the way when it comes to that sector. And so I'm pretty bullish on it. I think comparative to, say, some of the other altcoins, I do think it's going to have more of a pullback. I think you're going to get way more value as far as entry on Binance. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know. If I start seeing $100 Binance, you know, $120, $130, I definitely that's on my radar of something to pick up. I just think the all-time high is going to clear 1,000, maybe next bull cycle, and so and CZ and Binance, strongest, one of the strongest teams in crypto, period. And so,
For sure.
Yeah.
A ton of users.
Yeah. All right. We got anything else, David?
Forrest, anything else you want to talk about before we send you off?
No, I mean, I guess final comments. It's like, I know it's so uncomfortable to like, I'm like acting very, or like I'm very bullish on Ethereum, but I guess the analogy I would draw for people is if like you're really struggling to like understand like my mindset on Ethereum and why I want to hold Ethereum going to the merge. It's like, doesn't matter how bad the economy got between now and March of 2024, which is the next Bitcoin halving. Like, would you want to have Bitcoin going into the next Bitcoin halving, or would you be comfortable not having Bitcoin going into the next Bitcoin? Like, regardless of the economy and regardless of all the other factors going on in the world, going into the 2024 Bitcoin halving, like, you're gonna want Bitcoin in your portfolio, right? I'm not even like the biggest like mega Bitcoin bull, and I'm gonna have Bitcoin. 99% chance I'm going to have a Bitcoin in my portfolio going into March of 2024, going into the halving, because we know it's an endogenous catalyst. So the last thing I'll say is like, hey, this Ethereum merge, it's an endogenous catalyst, and maybe global macro just doesn't line up with the timing of it, and the performance of this catalyst and price action is subpar and a little bit disappointing. But I still want to have that exposure going into it just in case, right? Just like you would want to have Bitcoin going into the halving. So that's kind of where I'll leave it for today.
That's awesome insight. Yeah, I agree. I will always have some Bitcoin. I will always have some Ethereum, and then the rest, you know.
And I'll always have some swimming trunks for when we go to the water park.
We're not going to the water park. Anyways, guys, if you are not subscribed to CryptoStackers Pro on YouTube, please make sure you go do that. The link is in the description of this video. Also, go follow Forrest on Twitter at 0xstacker. And if you like his CryptoStackers Pro platform, please use the link. It is not an affiliate link, but you just click it. It'll take you there. Sign up, register. Immense value. Makes investing super easy. So that being said, Forrest, we thank you so much again for taking the time and blessing us with your knowledge. Until Friday, my friend, have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. You too.
Take care, Forrest.
Bye.
Thank you.
Later.
You going to have some Bitcoin going in the halving?
Of course. I mean, I'm not selling my Bitcoin. That's for damn sure. Also, we got Marky Mark dropping a 20 piece up in here. Super chat. Muchas gracias, my dude. So he said, thank God it's Forrest.
Oh, TGIF. Thank God it's Forrest.
Yeah, that's right. Also, so we got some new people here in the chat. We have Goku. So hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. He must have saw the Dragon Ball Z thumbnail and was like, he was like, hold on a second. And then also I saw some people earlier. Devin, welcome back. Antonio, welcome back. We got D's 2.0. Hola! Welcome. I don't know if he's in here promoting NFTs, but either way, even if you want to come in here and promote NFTs, we'll take the viewer count, right?
We will? No, we won't.
No, I mean he's not spamming.
Kind of was. Anyways,
we go in other people's chats and we spam sometimes. We're like, go check out our channel.
I have never spammed Sin City Crypto. Now our community members do.
No, we don't spam, but we say what's up, man. We say what's up.
You know, I am the protector of our community. I am not going to let anyone infiltrate our chat and talk nonsense.
No, man. I don't know. That's speculation. I don't know if he is or not. Also, we got Jason dropping a 5-piece over here. Much love. Thank you.
We can pay our bills now.
So we did get 2 new members today. So
that's awesome. Also, if it is your
Big
first
Chili Willy and Strictly Sports.
Right. Also, if it is your first time and you're watching this live, please drop a hello. We would love to personally welcome you to our community. We might be small, but we are proud and we're strong.
Also got Enzo in here. Enzo's been here before, right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So Enzo, welcome back.
What's up, Enzo? All right. Hot take. Let's go.
What's hot?
All right. So, Robin, I'm going to need you to cooperate on this, okay? So I asked the community what they want for a hot take, and I said the winner would get an I love you from me. No? You're gonna do that to one of our community members. Is that your plan? You can't drop one I love you to whoever I pick? Come on, bro. It's not me. It's the community. It's not me.
I don't dish out love very often. That way when I do,
Hater.
it means a lot.
Well, today would mean a lot. Anyways.
Also, we got a heavyweight up in here. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto.
What's up, heavyweight? Welcome to the channel, my friend. Excited to have you join our community. All right.
And also, hit the like button.
All right, Rocco, pull up my laptop. So I think this was Steph Curry, Strictly Sports. I believe this was his. Minecraft will not allow in-game NFTs. If you're not familiar with Minecraft, you have been living under a rock. It is one of the most popular games, period. I'm not a big gamer, but all I know is Minecraft is big. And if I know Minecraft is big, then I know the people who know gaming know that Minecraft is big as well. So Minecraft said an announcement today, and this was yesterday, that it will not permit the use of NFTs in its popular voxel sandbox game. All player, and this is what they're saying, all players should have the same experience. NFTs are in conflict with this goal, as the technology can create models of scarcity and exclusion. They also warned of the speculative nature of NFT prices, and also warned of fraud and price inflation. So, Robin, I'm going to ask you first for the hot take. Are they making a mistake, or do they have a point? Do they have a point? Should we worry about price inflation and fraud? And does it exclude certain people because A, they don't understand the technology, or B, they don't have the money? What are your thoughts?
This is absolute horse dookie, bro. Absolute horse dookie. Let me tell you something, man. My son plays a lot of Minecraft.
So does
And if
mine.
you're going to sit here and say that you don't want to offer experiences tailored for one person versus another, pull up my laptop. These are expansion packs. You get an experience that the other users can't have. This is the builders and binomes. There is tons of different versions you can get.
There's different worlds you can buy.
Yeah,
I know, because my kids every 5 days, Dad, can we have more Minecraft tokens?
And so this idea that there is a equal playing field when it comes to Minecraft, and that NFTs will give a unique experience to certain users is BS, man. Because right now, I'm done with my laptop, Rocco. Right now, it makes no sense. Because you have different business models that actively give different viewers different experiences. And so the underlying principle behind the NFTs is to give people ownership when it comes to these different versions, basically. That's essentially what it is. And so in the format that you have now, if you download one of these expansions on Xbox, you know, is it compatible? Can you download it on a computer? Can you download it on your Nintendo Switch? You know what I mean? I'm not exactly sure if you can or not, but the technology behind NFTs makes it so that way all of this is interoperable, and then you can be proud of something you own. And the cool thing about Minecraft is that you build and you create something that is yours. So what a better way of building and creating something that is yours than to integrate NFTs. What I'd like to see is the fact that maybe I build something in Minecraft, and then I make it an NFT. And then my little unique little thing that I made, in the same way that an artist makes something, let me tokenize it. Let me express myself in that way. Or if I want to pay money for some features that other people don't have, let me do it in my own way that makes it gives me ownership and lets me transact between different platforms. So I think it's a little absurd.
So what about the whole fraud and price inflation and speculative nature of the NFT prices? You think that's just BS?
Yeah.
You know,
Obviously, and here's the thing. First of all, if you use a solid chain, like say Ethereum or Polygon or something, then the fraud is only fraud between the user and another user. It's not fraud from the baseline platform. And so I don't know, man. I think it's stupid.
you know, I was under the impression that a majority of Minecraft players were, you know, I don't want to say kids, but you know, age 8 through 14, whatever. But the average age is 24 years old. So you have people, right? That generation has proven, I mean, we look at just our YouTube statistics. Like 80% of our viewers are between the ages of 24 and 30 or 24 and 35, whatever that range is. You have that generation. I'm not sure if it's Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen Q, whatever it is. They are more technology friendly. They're more technology oriented. Correct. So if you're already allowing them to spend $10, $20, $50 on tokens, on worlds, on this and that, what's the deal with just making it an NFT and now it's something that can hold, that can have value into the future? So I don't know if it's they don't want to spend the money, or they don't have the capabilities, or they don't know how, or they're nervous, they're scared, there's not enough regulation behind it. I don't know what it is. But you're already, now if they were a game where people weren't, like, you wouldn't allow any in-game purchases. I don't know if there's a game that does that. I'm not a big gamer. But then I can maybe understand, right? But you're talking about doing the same thing except giving ownership of that to the person who paid for it. So will it be a huge setback for the NFT space in general? I don't think so. If we were more deep into NFTs being built out for other than just, let's say, JPEGs, then I would say maybe. But as of right now, I doubt it. Now, will there be some other projects that see this and say, hey, because Minecraft's a giant. So what they do, someone else might look at it and say, you know what, we're going to follow what Minecraft's doing. So it can have that cascading effect. But overall, I don't think it'll have a big effect. And I'm with Robin on this one. I really don't understand what the big deal is.
Thing is it's coming. So whether or not you want to integrate NFTs into your platform as a video game franchise, that's on you. But you're going to have to make that switch. At some point, the community and the norm is going to shift. And whether or not you want to make your game playable online, back 20 years ago, you were left with no choice. You had to, you know, at first you're like, well, it's all about the single player experience. We don't want to incorporate multiplayer. Is there any games out there realistically that doesn't have online capability? I mean, I know there are some exceptions, but generally speaking, pretty much all the games are built and tailored so that way you can enjoy your experience with other people online. And whether or not that goes against your business model doesn't matter. Now, if you want a success, you got to play ball. You got to play ball, bro.
Imagine, right? You know, instead of paying $20 for the world or whatever it's called, skin or world, whatever, you buy that as an NFT, and then you can now trade. So if you're done playing that and you're done building in that world, you can trade with someone. But then again, what Steph Curry said is,
but even on a business model, you know, from the corporation, once you sell, like just say like Call of Duty or even Minecraft, once you sell a skin and you get that outfit, the person buys it, that transaction, that is done right then and there. So you're done making money, monetizing it right then and there. And if you know, we see it where it comes into NFT trading on like OpenSea, for example, where you can keep generating revenue with royalties back to the artist. You know, if I buy something in a game and I don't decide to use it anymore, hey, let me resell it to somebody else. And then you just keep taxing it on every transaction. And so I feel like it's ideal, like, honestly. Also, we got Timon here. I think he's new. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
I know Time. I went to high school with Time.
No?
Yeah, he was our tight end. Badass. What's up, Time? Welcome back.
So I don't know, man. You're gonna have to get on the board. You're gonna have to get on board with this NFT thing eventually, especially when it just becomes the
But if you're-
baseline business model for monetization.
If you're smart and you're worried about not making money, you can incorporate a royalty fee in there, and you would
Literally what I said. Were you not paying attention?
Well, I had to check my phone. That was my wife was texting. I apologize.
Yes. Before
okay,
you
so-
answer, I said you can build royalty fee into the
my
transaction.
apologies.
Okay.
My apologies. I wasn't purposely ignoring you. Something important. But so then to piggyback off Robin, you know, you're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. I think that's the saying, right?
Well, the
over
thing
dollars to pick up pennies.
is right now, how did we get here? And I do have a pretty good check on the pulse when it comes to NFT and integration with gaming. And what we've seen is that the launch of pointless NFT projects by corporations just as a straight money grab,
Right.
is kind of put a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And so you have a situation where you're looking at a gamer like, hey, I don't want a fake ass NFT line, 10,000 JPEGs of the main character of my video game, and just be copied and then basically take advantage of little kids
Right.
that like, hey, mom, I want it, and then watch it go to zero. And you're basically taking a child and you're taking their money and you're showing them how to rug pull a child. And so, I mean, that's the fear of it. And unfortunately, because of that stigma, these corporations are listening to the community, because the community is like, we don't want that.
Right.
We just want to play video games. Stop interfering. Stop trying to monetize our video games. I just want to buy a copy of a video game and I just want to play it. And I don't want you to try to keep making money on everything I do. And at face value, it kind of makes sense. However, these people aren't deep into the crypto
Right.
space. They're not deep into the functionality of NFTs and how much it could expand the video game world and improve it.
And make
they're
the
just looking
experience
at,
better, too.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're not aware of that. Not the masses. And eventually, people will come around. Eventually, people will be like, hey, you know what? NFTs make my user experience that much better.
And it will, like, and again, I'm not a big gamer, but if, you know, one of the games, you know, I love playing. When we went into the lockdown, my wife and I played Call of Duty for hours when the kids went to sleep. And so how cool would it be if, you know, some skins or guns or whatever, some maps you play are NFTs and you can trade and buy, and if you have one and you played it and it's valuable, you can sell it and maybe make some money or trade. So it just would provide an overall experience. But I agree with Robin. I think the bad taste in people's mouths, I would say 90 to 95% of NFT projects end up being scams or rug pulls or money grabs. That's not helping. The fact that people don't understand the technology behind it, that's not helping. And the fact that it's in a bear market, that's not helping either. In the future, I agree with Robin, we'll see more adoption. They'll essentially have to. You will see every single big, you know, studio that does games incorporate NFTs, and Minecraft will not be the only one that's not incorporating NFT. So very bullish long term. Short term, not really. All right, Rocco, before we move on to talking point, I want to share some comedic relief. I want to share some comedy with our friends. So pull up my laptop. So this is from at NFT Hawks, okay? Shit posters in a bear market. So who do you think is a shit poster in this, Robin? Is it the bear?
It is live.
Oh, man. By the way, this guy posts some funny stuff. Go follow him. And then also, our friend of the channel here. I'm kidding, of course. Nancy Pelosi. Now, Rob, did you hear the rumors about her husband? How he bought $1 to $5 million worth of NVIDIA stock just days, I believe it was days or weeks before they're approving that chip bill that would essentially plug in $52 billion into the chip manufacturing sector. Did you hear about that? You had to have, right?
No, I know. Well,
insider
I know dude got arrested for a DUI a couple weeks ago. He's got not the most pristine record. And yeah, I've heard of the rumors. I know what you're talking about when it comes to, I know the the press was questioning Nancy Pelosi's.
They were, and you want to see her response?
Yeah.
Course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he received from you?
No, absolutely not. Okay.
No, absolutely not.
To go.
And you know what? What if it was someone else that wasn't a politician? Do you think they'll be able to just walk off? Absolutely not. No. They get called into Congress, have to do a testify in front of the 5 different committees and get grilled. And when they answer a question that's not to your liking, then they will do what Elizabeth Warren does and cut you off and essentially corner you into giving them a response they want to hear. But these people get away with it by just saying, no, of course not. And we'll just leave it at that. It's fine. Such a double standard. That is why people don't trust politicians. I'm one of those people. I'm not sure where Robin lies on this, but anyways, let's go into the talking points. All right, so we're talking Ethereum. So Vitalik came out and essentially laid out a roadmap of what it would look like after the merge. And so long-term goals, this was, I spoke at the Ethereum conference in Europe. I believe it's in Europe. So there's 2 articles, going to read them real quick and then we'll discuss. What are the long-term goals for the Ethereum blockchain? Vitalik explains, currently the priority for Ethereum is building an easy-to-use light client for consensus layer, execution layer, and layer 2 solutions. After that is better support for home stakers or those looking to validate the network that have less than 32 ETH. So essentially breaking down or bringing the barrier to entry down to people who want to help secure the network. Finally, Vitalik believes it's critical that Ethereum can be eventually run on a full node with lighter hardware. As for the long horizon roadmap, Buterin plans to upgrade Ethereum with better cryptographic technologies, potentially for quantum resistance. And then this next article kind of goes a little deeper. Vitalik does say that after the merge, Ethereum will only be 55% complete. Now, there are 4 layers. You have the merge, the surge, the verge, and the purge. The surge, we all know what the merge refers to, right? When we merge the beacon chain with the mainnet. The surge refers to the sharding. The verge refers to the addition of stateless clients aimed at making the network more decentralized. And the purge involves removing historical data in a bid to streamline the network. Buterin said that Ethereum would be roughly 55% complete. And a new proposal, EIP 4444, would be focused on storing historical data in execution clients. Quote, because people value scalability. You can't rely on nodes to store everything. And he dropped some names of potential projects and coins that could help in this area. The Graph, BitTorrent, and Block Explorers as a potential source for storing data in the future. And finally, Ethereum will potentially be able to process 100,000 transactions per second. If and when they get there, Robin, what will other chains have to do to compete with Ethereum once they're at 100%? The merge, the surge, the verge, and the purge. You have 100,000 transactions per second. You have layer 2s that are booming. You have scalability, security. Does any other chain stand a chance?
I mean, probably not. But when is that supposed to happen?
The verge.
And he was on record, I think last year, saying that it's probably an 8 to 10 year before Ethereum's kind of through its major upgrades. I don't think anything's ever gonna be 100%. Even Bitcoin's gonna go through BIP proposals. So, this is software that needs to be updated at time to time. And as you get further away from an inception of a crypto, less and less upgrades over time. But I mean, 100,000 transactions per second. I mean, the Visa network credit card system is around 25,000 transactions.
I think it's close to
they're extremely they're textbook centralized. And so you're talking about something faster and more efficient than just straight up computers and data servers. And so in a decentralized format, I just find it hard to believe. And you know what? This is why crypto's here. And maybe crypto will outperform even the most centralized competitors.
65,000 per
65,000. So you know what I'm saying? Even then, it's still leaps and bounds faster. And this is, and you got to think, Visa has been building their network since like the 70s.
Right.
And so they've had about 50 years.
That's our
50 years.
That's our problem
of scaling.
That's our problem in the crypto space. And I'm guilty of it too. Is we want it so fast. We want it right now. It takes time. This is a long-term thing, like Robin said with Ethereum, 8 to 10 years. And people are saying, wow, that's a long time. It's really not.
Now, my question is I find it impossible to do the 100,000 on the layer 1. And perhaps he's leveraging layer 2. And that makes sense. Because here's the thing, a layer 2, like I can, for example, I can do 1,000 transactions between my own network with David. We could create our own chain. Doesn't even have to be blockchain, realistically. And I can just send and receive 1,000 transactions in 1 minute with David. And then all I got to do at the end of every minute is check in our ledger onto a layer 1, like Ethereum or Bitcoin. And boom, I can tout, hey, the Ethereum network or the Bitcoin network, using this layer 2, you can do 1,000 transactions per second or minute or whatever it is. And so that is what happens when you have these layer 2s that are highly centralized. Lightning Network's a pretty good example of it. Now, Lightning Network's not really controlled by anyone, but pretty centralized. At least in comparison to Bitcoin. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt when you see these big numbers. Now, maybe we're all wrong, and maybe they do scale to 100,000 transactions. I just highly doubt it. And yeah, but super bullish. I think if you give Ethereum 10 years, I think they will fulfill a lot of what their promises are. But I just don't see any of that happening in the short term. I mean, it took them 2015 is when they talked about an upcoming proof of stake transition. That was 7 years. And
but you got to remember, this is also the meat and potatoes, so to say, of this whole thing, right? The rest of them, the surge, the purge, the verge, whatever it is, those will come a lot faster than 7 years. You agree? Like, it's not going to take another 7 years for sharding. It's not going to take another 7 years.
Maybe it will. I mean, honestly,
highly
okay,
unlikely.
well, Vitalik literally said last year it'll take 10 years for him to, you know what I mean, to get this thing where he wants it. And so if his own map is 10 years, and before his map of switching to proof of stake was a year or 2 years, and that stretched out to 7, and if he's giving you the timeline of 10, if everything's on track for 10 years, you're talking 2032. And God forbid you have setbacks. We don't even know if the merge is going to be successful. I mean, realistically, I don't think it's going to crash or anything like that, but perhaps they do the merge and
I swear to
it don't
God,
run
if they
optimum.
spend 8 years on this merge and they mess it up, I'm done with Ethereum.
Also, you got to keep in mind that, you know, the market is not big enough. I mean, it's not too big now. It's $1 trillion. So imagine now if 10 years from now, we're going to be what, 3, 4, 5 now, and maybe we have something new like NFT and coming out now, you need to scale like crazy.
The
You
thing
need
is,
to adjust. So I don't know, 10 years, maybe
you
they're not
can't-
enough.
Here's the thing, you can't turn off the Ethereum network and upgrade it. And so everything has to be done in real time without breaking it. And you know, there's been comparisons to like, hey, forking a chain while it's live or doing a merge while it's live is in comparison to like fixing an airplane while it's flying.
They fuel airplanes in the air.
No, the military does. That's and they're designed to
I'm
do
saying
that.
it's possible.
But you know, imagine having a jumbo jet filled up with passengers that have their livelihood in that plane, and you have to literally fly and fix it at the same time.
Not just their livelihood, their lives.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that people
I
have
know
their
exactly.
livelihood
Yeah.
locked up in crypto. And so You know, I think that for the smart contracts, Ethereum is the first smart contract chain, the biggest one, the one with the biggest community. And they're doing something that is revolutionary and changing the world. And the fact that we have this gift that is functional and it only took 7 years to make.
Right.
Compared to every other industry in this world that took hundreds of years to make, even the internet didn't get going for like 15 years. The internet was created in the 80s. Nobody was using the internet until mid 2000s something. And so you can look at what the internet looked like in 1998. It wasn't interactive. It was you type in an address and then you just populated what the website showed you. There was not clickable things in there. All you could do was just move forward in a slide. Think of like connecting to PowerPoint. That was exactly what the internet was. It was just like going through PowerPoint slides. And so the fact that it only took 7 years to build a monetary system, a movement of data in the form of smart contracts that is going to change the world, I think 7 years is an amazing accomplishment. I think that's something that if you were to say, hey, in 7 years, we're going to build a competition to not only data, but monetary system, and we're going to change the world. 7 years. And you know what? We're going to try to do it in 2. And if we fail, we're going to piss off David.
Yeah, you know how they changed the world? By taking $400 out of my bank account to mint an NFT. All right,
that's the cost of being an early adopter, bro. You know how much it cost to run internet back in 1998? You had to get any kind of speed more than 56 megabytes. You had to buy a computer that at the time was thousands of dollars, which was, if you were to compare it to the purchasing power now, to access the internet, you had to spend tens of thousands of dollars to do it in the early 2000s. So if you wanted to play around in the new technology before anybody else, you had to pay down for it. And if you want to use NFTs before the platforms are in here, before Amazon is in here, before Disney is in here, before everybody else is here, if you want to be an early adopter and you want to use technology nobody else has, and before it's been marketed to death, you got to pay for it. And I'm happy to pay for it.
I feel attacked. Are you attacking me?
No, you're attacking Ethereum. Anyways, buy your NFT at 3 a.m.
That's it.
You know what I mean? You want to save money? Go use Binance Chain.
I get a video when I paste it on the drive. It's the first time somebody tried to explain what is an email. It's 1995.
It's on the drive? Where? Are you sure?
At the very end.
On today's show.
Oh, on today's show. Okay, gotcha.
Just in case when I put it out. So it's kind of fun because it's gonna give you an idea of somebody tried
There's
to...
no music in the background, right? We're not going to get a
I don't
copyright?
think so. There's probably talking. Yeah. Hold on.
All right, brought to you by Rocco. This is, what is this again, Rocco? The internet in 95.
Somebody tried to explain to in the show what is an email.
Oh, okay.
Millions of Americans own a personal computer. If you're one of them, you can now glimpse the future with nothing more than a modem, a phone line, and a few dollars a month.
Mute it for a second just in case for the music.
With the A and then the ring around it?
At?
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah.
A with the ring around it.
But I'd never heard it.
Around
I'd never heard it said. I'd always seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
Just what is this main artery of the information superhighway?
Every business, no matter how large and no matter how small, will be on the internet in the year 2000. It's the primary way that people will look up information. It will replace the yellow pages as we know it today.
Are a lot of people just getting on to the internet
pick
because
that
they
guy's
feel
brain.
that they have to get onto the playing field, so to speak?
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
There it is. Violence at NBC, GE.com. I mean...
Well, Allison should know.
What is internet anyway?
Internet is that
What is it?
Massive computer
right,
network.
the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean that's big? How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
No, she can't say anything in 10 seconds or less.
That's Robin.
I'm afraid that if I subscribe to something like internet,
You would really be hooked.
I would get hooked and I would never, spend time with my family.
She's so right.
Does it bother you at all that these are all people that you don't really know?
No,
absolutely, because you talk about crypto and blockchain and Bitcoin, and you bring these topics up in front of your legacy media, in front of NBC and Fox, and you hear a lot of that same narrative, like, well, it's not gonna work, and then you got some guy, he sounds hella crazy. He's like, well, all the companies in the world are gonna use blockchain. Like, what? Like, listen to this guy, man. Like, I want my yellow pages, I want my VHS, I want to go down to Blockbuster and look and physically hold my VHS tape before I bring it home. And so, yeah, it's what we got.
Cool. All right, let's move on. BlockFi had $1.8 billion in outstanding loans in quarter two. Centralized crypto lender BlockFi disclosed that at the end of Q2, they had $1.8 billion outstanding loans from institutional and retail investors, and $600 million of that was net exposure. Of the outstanding loans to borrowers, they reported that $600 million was uncollateralized. Institutional loans accounted for $1.5 billion, while retail loans counted for $300 million. Now, if you're like me, you're like, what the hell are you doing lending out $600 million uncollateralized? 30% of your loans are uncollateralized. Robin, is that alarming? Is that is alarming to me. 30% of your company's loans are uncollateralized.
Okay, here's
okay, but I know you're probably going to spend some time on this. Let me read BlockFi's explanation as to why you shouldn't worry. Okay? BlockFi explained that it only provides uncollateralized loans to borrowers it considers tier one. Tier one clients are institutional clients who have, quote, a significant capital base, 3 Arrows Capital, financial statements audited by reputable third parties, 3 Arrows Capital, and a willingness to be transparent and engaged. I'm curious. Obviously, 3 Arrows Capital was a borrower from BlockFi. Now, I know they had some collateral. But I want to know what kind of companies fall into tier one. And was 3 Arrows Capital looked at as one of those companies? Was Celsius looked at as one of those companies? Was Voyager looked at as one? Like, you get what I'm trying to say. Okay, Robin, go ahead and make your point.
So
30%.
Okay, here's the thing. Crypto is a lot more risky. It's a lot more volatile. It's a lot more swings. A lot more new companies. A lot more projects go under. And so at face value, you're like, yo, you're absolutely insane for uncollateralizing your loans in this space, because there's so many new projects that come in and so many that go to zero. And so you're giving yourself an immense amount of risk not collateralizing your loans. But it is in our structure, it's in our DNA here in the United States and in most developed countries to lend out uncollateralized loans. You can think of taking a mortgage out. Banks do it every single day. And so you might get a mortgage. And what do you put? You put 20% down, and then you have 80% uncollateralized, right? I mean, essentially. And you can do this, and banks lend to each other all the time without collateral. You have corporations. I'm just saying that
you're comparing apples to oranges.
And that's the first thing I said was that crypto's different. It's highly volatile. It's more risky. But I'm just saying that in the fabric of business and the fabric of lending, in the history of lending throughout humankind, since we developed monetary value, people have lent out loans, and not all of them are collateral. And so I don't think it's that shocking. And here's the thing. If you account for potential loss, or you account for your risk when you lend out, I think that's a standard business model. In the same way that, like, I don't think any bank in the world, if all of their debt got defaulted, would survive. And so you come out with a formula as a business. You come up with a formula like, hey, let's give out this amount of unsecured loans. Let's secure these amount of loans that are more risky. And then you come up with this platform where, realistically speaking, you could, at the high side, get this amount of defaults, and you still stay afloat. And it's the same way that we've seen in crypto already, where some creditors got defaulted on, or some lenders got defaulted on, and they're still afloat, and they're going to make it through the bear market because they planned for that. They understood the risk at loaning, and they understood the risk of people not paying back. But they probably also,
if they understand that risk, why do they have to go borrow money?
Because it's part of business. As a business, as a company, you borrow money.
Why do they have to stipulate that that FTX can buy a portion of the company for pennies on the dollar?
That's how business works.
That's not how business works.
Every business in America.
Every business in the world sells their business for pennies on the dollar if they're taking risk management.
What do you mean pennies on the dollar? I'm just saying that companies...
They went from a $4 billion valuation to a $250 million.
Okay. And there's plenty of example. Okay, so you're going to pick out one example of one failure of one company and be like, look at their value, and now look at their value. Okay, but what I'm saying is that you have two platforms that went down. There is thousands of companies that are in our space that will not go under.
There are multiple. It's just we haven't talked about them because they're so small.
Okay, regardless of how many companies went under or will go under, there's going to be thousands of successful companies. And you can look at the history of business and you can look and say, well, we shouldn't expand the banks because that bank went under. Like, okay, at the end of the day, the free market is going to eat up, spit out on the businesses that aren't run correctly. And it could be in finance. It can be in an automotive sector. If you run your business with too much risk and you don't plan for problems, you're going to go under. In the same way, if I open up a restaurant and I live and everything is down to the penny for my profitability or success, and if one thing goes wrong, I go under, then at that point, I stand very little chance of success, because when the oven breaks or the walk-in refrigerator breaks, I'm probably not going to be able to survive. But you can't say, well, you shouldn't take out a loan as a business because then, as a restaurant, because you're taking undue risk. But no, if you mitigate your risk, like, okay, I can survive for this long without this amount of money. I have a safety here. It's the backbone of insurance. If every person in an insurance company filed a claim, the insurance company would go bankrupt. We've seen that one with Hurricane Katrina, where like all of the houses in the Florida, Gulf of Mexico area, they basically filed claims and some insurance companies went under. They didn't prepare for that. But generally speaking, as a model of an insurance company is that not everybody's going to file a claim at the same time. And so you were prepared for a certain amount of impermanent loss, but at the same time, you're hedging your bet by saying, okay, we can take this many punches and we'll survive. That's just business, bro. That's the fundamentals of business, is that you take risk. And if you're in a finance,
show me anyone that takes a 30% risk on their entire portfolio.
Every single bank out there.
30% risk.
Yes. If the housing market crashed, there would be tons of companies that go under. So there's tons of companies out there that have more than 30% liability out there. So you think that everything is collateralized in America? Every company collateralizes everything that is borrowed.
Of course not. But the ones that are so under collateralized, they have something to fall back on.
I think 30% is very realistic, bro. Honestly, do you have more than 30% debt?
Me?
Personally? Yeah. As far as you owe more than 30%.
Better question. You have a credit card where the limits are more than $30,000. So if you have like 5 credit cards, you can go crazy and
I just
borrow money.
I think the backbone of business in America and even in established companies is that theoretically, if you wanted to, if everything went south, if we went into a deep depression and literally banks closed, I think you're gonna have tons of companies that would go under because they have more than 30% unsecured debt out there. And if they got defaulted on, that's just business, bro. That's just the 101. Go take a business course at UNLV. You'll learn that it's just the standard business. Ideally, the smartest way of running a business is you open it and take on no debt. That's the at face value. If you're gonna, like, we do a pretty good job of it here at the studio, but realistically 80-90% of the businesses you see here in town are underwater with debt, and they probably can't survive a 6-month closure because they owe so much money. And that's just business, man. That's never going to change. That's just how companies are run. And you look at the miners do the same thing. They're like, hey, we need to compete, otherwise we're going to get left behind. Let's put up our ASICs as leverage, or our Bitcoin as leverage, and just hope it doesn't go down. And it's
leverage, collateral, words you just used.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they probably can't survive if Bitcoin goes way down because they expose themselves. They didn't take an insurance out on their own loan. And so if I have $1 million company and I borrow $500,000 and I leverage all of my company with it, all of the assets I have in my company, if Bitcoin were to straight tank down to say $2,000-$3,000 as an example, my business model, I would not be able to make the interest payments or the monthly payments because my interest model is due to me bringing in money. And so at that point, I'm done. I'm toast. And it's the same with lending out money. If BlockFi lends out money, not every dollar. Here's the thing: who's going to borrow money if they can collateralize 1-to-1? Why would I borrow money? Why would I give you $100,000 to borrow $100,000? And so the people that are coming to BlockFi,
collateral isn't money for money. You put up something that of value, and you.
But there's people that are trying to generate, that are trying to raise capital because they don't have it. That's the fundamental. Like, that's, if we want to get somebody to invest, if we want to generate $100,000, we're like, hey, Sin City Crypto needs to raise $100,000. We don't have $100,000 worth of collateral, but we can probably find a lender that'll give it to us, right? In the same way that any business out here can go raise $100,000 or $1 million or $2 million. It's how our system works. You want to raise money, somebody will give it to you. It doesn't mean that company is shady or bad. I can go to Bank of America and borrow $100,000. Interest might not be favorable, but the interest is exact correlation to the risk. So my interest is going to be higher due to the risk. And this BlockFi probably does the same thing. If they're lending out money unsecured, they're probably generating tons of interest, higher interest than you would if you had collateralized it. And they're probably, for every 5 loans, they're probably generating 24% interest on those loans. And they're accounting for, hey, if one of these loans defaults, the interest that we occur from the other 4 or 5 will cover the losses. It's just standard risk management in business.
But a lot of these companies that are making these big under or uncollateralized loans have something to fall back on, whether that's the federal government, whether that's a reinsurance company, whether that's a parent company.
Not investment companies. The bank, FDIC, sure. Yeah, maybe they can get bailouts. But essentially,
they can and they have.
No, that's banks. Right. I'm talking about a venture capital fund. The guys then next door that are in our office. If they lend money out and they don't get paid back, they go under. Or they lose that loan. But also venture capital, they invest in 10 projects, 2 or 3 of them probably will go under. And that's cool. 30% of their all their crap's uncollateralized. 30% of their investments are probably going to tank or fail. But they're going to make money on the 70%. That's just business, man.
Yeah, except when you got to go borrow $400 million from your competitor. All right, we're done. We're done. Anything else you guys want to add? All right.
Fuck the mattress.
Damn, Rocco. We haven't cursed all show and you got to break it up.
Yeah. I think, guys, I need some juice. I was about to ring the bell and then I say,
yeah. We're a little past. We're losing viewers. We're a little past our time here. So we are going to head into our weekend. Make sure you guys go check out the merch store. Rocco, throw it up there. Got some really cool stuff on there. If you're a whale member, you get 10% off forever as long as you're a whale. Also, please go support Forrest. Follow him on YouTube, CryptoStackers Pro. Also, go follow him on Twitter at 0xstacker. And go follow us too at Sin City Crypto. On behalf of myself, Robin, and Rocco, we thank you guys so much for joining us. We love you. Have a great weekend until Monday, 10:30 a.m. Vegas time. Peace.
Drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Change, Mickey D's, turn into
No, the empty chair.
Drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Smoking on a island, say she wanna ride with me. Took her on a flight, said all her bags from Italy. I sent her with a friend, they shopping there religiously. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Say she love me, but that's when she rockin' Prada bag. Said she ready for the next, I won't not so fast. Slow down, slow down, slow down, girl, don't you crash. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Cause we can mess up that pretty face, but we can fuck up that pretty lady. Tryna kiss up, I'm in your place. Man, this shit so crazy. Never thought I'd be doing shit like this again. Put that effort in, girl, then I will pay you. Crash that thing out the park, now I feel like Babe Ruth, baby. This shit I can't do, baby. No, I can't move, baby. Nothing I can't prove, baby. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Question marks along your brain, wonder if you should try again. Look at me inside your braces. Can't focus when we face to face. Plenty things I could go say. Name a place I go and pay at. Said she want no boo. Been around the world, plenty things I can show you. Taking flights to GA for our soul food. Gotta pay 1K for GA at my shows too. Keep it 1K with my fans even at my lows. Ooh. That's why I'm back. Show your man the things I've showed you. Tell your man how I used to hold you, but I won't hold you. Your new man is lame and all I spoke is true. Life won't smoke for you. That sadness comes with coping too. This madness come with shit that's overdue. You strong by yourself, nobody else holding you. But I ain't holding you. You the one I need when I'm off that perk or two. Hit that thing early, got you sleep like curve for you. All these lame ass bitches I curve for you. All these packs and pearls I burn with you. It's up now, baby, it's stuck. They can look, but they cannot. They gon' hate, so I keep that tucked. All this ice on me like pucks. I work hard, don't need no luck. Only thing I need is my Glock. When there's bread, these birds gon' flock. When they dead, I let them rot. I ain't tryna leave you up, I said stop waiting. And I don't got time for these pussy fuckers playing. You gotta read between the lines that I am saying. Ain't got no time for no more bullshit conversations. Cause I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on